And welcome to Clicker 7. Alright, so this is a writing software that most elementary schools in Europe East have unlimited site licenses for, and our moderate to severe programs, K-12, have roughly 5 licenses each. There are some exceptions that I can go over with somebody in detail at a later date. Nice thing about this writing tool is that we even have home licensing as well. So it can be installed on any computer at school, and if a child really is benefiting from the use of this or is enjoying the writing process because of this, or you as a teacher want to have this program at home to do some planning or create templates, go ahead and just email me, and then I'm able to send home or email you a PDF document with the code for you to activate your account. So that is a nice feature about this software. Now I'm going to go over quickly some of the main features that make this standalone from, say, Google Docs or Microsoft Word, or why you'd want to use this with some of your students. So the first thing you do when you open up Clicker 7 is you get this kind of splash screen. And what you're going to do is, hold on, I'm here and I'm having audio issues. 1 second. Okay. Seem to be stressing out Google Hangouts right now.
Aaron, I hear you loud and clear.
Oh, you can? Okay, terrific. Good. It might be somebody else's.
And yeah, I hear you loud and clear, and I'm helping accept other people, okay?
Perfect. Thank you. So we're in the Clicker 7 word processor, and the first thing you'll notice is there's these little tabs down at the bottom. If you're writing on the smartboard or if you're using a touch screen, you can bring up a nice keyboard.
Cool. Aaron, we don't see your screen, though, okay?
You don't see my screen. Ah, well, that would be...
People are commenting, and I don't either, so
okay.
Maybe we need to do our little, remember that pin, unpin?
I'm getting a screen sharing was an error message. Let's try that again. It's always fun when we try new technology. All right.
Okay.
Here we go.
Now.
Thank you for giving me the play-by-play if it's not working. All right. So now, hopefully, you should be able to see Clicker 7. Hold on 1 second.
Yep. Okay, here comes Clicker.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Charity, go ahead and mute your mic, and I'll see if I can help with that.
Thank you.
All right. So are we seeing Clicker 7 now?
Yes.
Okay. So you're going to go ahead, and when you first open Clicker 7, there's a little splash box here, and you're going to say, okay. I'm going to go ahead and just turn off my Outlook right now. The first thing I like for when writing on a smartboard or using a touch screen is you'll see I have these tabs down in the lower right-hand corner, and there's that green button that looks like a keyboard. If you select it, you get a keyboard. And I can resize it to fit my screen. And you can choose different types of keyboards by going into Options and Preferences, and you can go into the keyboard option. And I like the rainbow keyboard for the younger children because I can say if they're looking for a letter, I can give them hints like it's in the green section or the purple section or the blue. So it allows you to give some cues when those students are just learning how to type and develop that keyboard awareness. You'll also notice that it has built-in word prediction up here. So if I start writing hello, it will start giving me options. And if I can't read that, if I right-click on it,
hello,
it will read it aloud. I don't know if you can hear that because it's going into my headset right now. But if I right-click on any word, it will read the word aloud. And that even goes for any of the words within the document. And again, I can resize this if I feel like it's getting a little crunched, or I can make it nice and big. If I'm using the smartboard and I don't have access to a right-click button, that's what this blue button does. It just simulates a right-click button. And then I have my enter and my backspace. So I love doing shared writing activities on the board where we have access to this nice keyboard within Clicker 7. Some other features, some basic features that I want you to be aware of is that it reads aloud. So So as soon as I put a period here, it's actually going to read that sentence. But if I want it read again, I put the cursor at the beginning, and it will then read that sentence, and you'll see it highlights in red. Another feature that I like is I see so many folks are really excited about speech recognition, being able to convert spoken word into typed text. And a feature that I find more accommodating in the general ed classroom for a lot of kids is actually word prediction. And what that is it's called the word predictor in Clicker 7. If I select this, it's going to start guessing what I'm typing. And the nice thing is, if I am trying to spell something, it will help me out.
School.
And right now I have it set to provide pictures of words. And if you don't like that, I can go to my options and my preferences, and I can go ahead and say, I don't want pictures showing up in my document. So it's very customizable with what it can do. And if I'm a poor speller, let's say I'm going to say I like to go do something. I can, and it's showing up red as it's saying, oh, do you mean this? Do you mean one of these other words? And if I right click on it, because again, if I have a hard time reading, I can right click on it and it's going to read each word aloud. And then I can select the one I like. What I often recommend is I turn on this 1, 2, 3, which turns on the these numbers by it. Why I like that is instead of actually having to use my mouse to move and select these, I can just put the number, and it will automatically insert the word that I want. So if I want the number 4, I press 4. So we have it reads aloud. It has great word prediction. It has the on-screen keyboard. It also has a great spell check. And what I'm going to do here, and the reason I like this spell check is, let's see, I'm going to do words. Okay, I get the red line, spell check, and it comes up down here with these different options. And the great thing about that, because a lot of kids I work with struggle with even reading the words that are available within like Microsoft Spellcheck or Google Docs Spellcheck. So if I right click on any of these, it is going to read it aloud, and then I can select the word I want. I'm able to put in pictures. I'm able to insert hyperlinks, dates, etc. I'm able to adjust the font, adjust the layout, just like you would in Microsoft Word or Google Docs. But the big difference for Clicker 7 is the ability to use word grids. And this is really what separates this from other tools out there. And so, for example, I have something called a book report frame, which it provides this template. The title of the book is, the genre of the story is, where I can select this. Again, I can right-click it to have it read aloud. And then I can keep writing.
The title of the book is Harry Potter.
And so for kids that struggle with spelling, with organization, with motivation, they struggle with their confidence. This is a great confidence builder to be able to kind of go through these templates and insert kind of their knowledge of the book, but they're not struggling with some of those transition words. And so it cues our kids that really struggle with that organization. It gives them a scaffold to help organize their thoughts. So this is an example of a book review frame. I have one for a procedure frame. Actually, I'm going to jump ahead to the recount. You know, so if we look at our standards, so many kids are having to justify their thoughts, to explain their thinking, to describe something. And there are these pre-made frames that come in that allow you to go ahead and start off the writing process. This transition word section. I think there are many college students out there that would benefit from just these digital word banks of college of transition words, or comments for during IEP time or during our report cards. So we can also insert topic words. Now, if you want to add a word, I hold down the Shift button, and I can go ahead and type a word or words in the box. And then if I left click on that,
To start with, type a word or words in the box.
it inserts that into the to the document. So that's One important thing to remember is to hold down the shift on any word or any box that you don't like, or you want to amend that phrase or that word. Hold down shift and you can edit that. We're going to turn off our predictor. Now, I'm showing you a lot of pre-made ones, and I want to show you where to find those. And so you're going to go to Show Explorer, and you are going to go to, it might start on Quick Start, go to Files, and Learning Grids. And Learning Grids is this wonderful resource of pre-made activities for you to download or modify. And so where I found all these great writing tools is under the word frames, because these are writing frames. And so if you are in Clicker 7, and if you want a history frame, click Run Now, and boom, it shows up. And if I want to edit these later, we're going to cover that in a more advanced training on how to really get in and create your own and edit and customize. But if you just want to do quick edits, hold down the Shift, left click, and it allows you to insert. Now I know I have some Mod Severe and some PICD folks in here too. If you search the clicker grids, so I'm going to go back to my Show Explorer, I'm going to go to my Learning Grids. I have a lot of different, go to Early Learning. I have matching activities. I have some that just are for discussion. So I'm going to click Run Now, where this pulls up an activity. It's like a book where I listened to what's going on.
It's time to get up.
So it says, I don't know if you could hear that, but it's time to get up. And so I need to find the picture.
Well done.
Time to get up. So working on expressive language, or receptive language, understanding what you're hearing, but also there's a component for receptive language too, or expressive language, excuse me. So if you are in Clicker, it does have the ability to insert audio notes. And I'm going to go to, and actually they are not working right now, so I'm going to skip that part. Some things I want you to know in this intro is I want you to be able to get to the files and the learning grids, and I want you guys to be able to explore the learning grids, and I want you to know basically how to do some basic editing of holding down the shift to access and edit some of these learning grid templates. A couple ones I like is there's one on writing stories. There's a lot of these procedural frames, this book review frames, science report frames, a lot of things that provide extra structure. The other thing I want you to know is we have two documents open right now, or actually two things that are open. We have a document up here, and then we have this clicker grid down here. It's important that you know the difference between the two, and that's a huge takeaway from this training today, is that the student is working in, or you're working in this document up here. If you want to save this, you need to be in this document tab, and you need to hit Save As. And you're going to save this document to your common drive or to the computer. I recommend the common drive because you'll be able to then access it on different computers. Now, if you made this wonderful grid down here, and you added it, you added some things, you made all sorts of changes, and it's perfect, you need to make sure you go to that clicker set, this tab up here, and hit Save As. And you want to save this to the common drive. So if you make this beautiful writing template that you want all the kids in your class that you're working with to use, you need to make sure they can open up this clicker grid. So this clicker set, excuse me. So the document is what the kids are working on. This clicker set is what they're going to use. So you're going to want to make sure you save that clicker set someplace that all the kids can open it. And what they're going to do is they'll go to that shared common drive, they'll see that clicker set, they'll double click on it, and it will open right up for them. But that's something that confuses and gets a lot of people at first, is this understanding that you can have your document and then you can have your clicker set. And you'll notice down here, I have a lot of clicker sets open. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I have plenty of clicker sets. So you can have multiple sets open. But if I wanted to close out Clicker right now, it would say, do you want to save changes to all these Clicker sets into your document? You're going to have to decide yes or no. The downside to Clicker 7 is it does require saving to a computer or a common drive. It's not like Google where it's cloud-based, where it saves. it saves automatically and nobody loses work. There are chances for kids to lose work, for kids to overwrite stuff. So it is important that kids understand how to manage the files, or that they have support in opening up certain files. So that is a big one. Make sure you know how to save. Make sure you know how to open. Make sure you know how to find the clicker sets using the learning grids. And the last thing that I want to highlight for you all is if you're beyond that now and you're ready to explore more, if you go to the quick start, there's make a clicker set. And here are all the different templates that you can go through. And this is going to be at our next training, is really how to take advantage to create your own activities, your own sentence sets where it automatically scrambles up the words. How to make a sentence set that scrambles up all the words but has the kids go in a sequential order to write sentences. Word banks where you have the ability to copy and paste in text and give kids these massive word or sentence banks to get them going on a writing topic. Clicker boards, which is a lot like inspiration for graphic organizing and getting ideas out, and then it'll convert this wonderful graphic organizer that you've created into a word bank. So I find this helpful for doing group planning and discussing and talking, and then converting that to a word bank for the kids to use. Clicker books. I haven't used this as much, honestly, but this is a way for kids to write and have another template to be able to kind of publish their work in a neat format. Talking sets for our speech language pathologists, or our preschool or our moderate severe folks, or even our general ed folks, that they want the kids to be able to talk about what they know and not necessarily write about it. This is a great way for kids to just practice expressing themselves verbally. We have a matching set, which is more low level, depth of knowledge skill, which is just matching up different concepts, but that is there. And then there's a custom set. So we're going to go into some more details about that. One feature that was not working today that I do want to highlight is that eventually you're going to have the ability to record audio notes to the side here. And what that does is that allows the student to maybe tell you their sentence, and it's not going to convert it into spoken or to typed text. What I find with kids with ADHD or with short-term memory issues, they often forget their sentences because they're spending so much time working on the actual process of writing it that they forgot their great idea. And so if they can record their sentence first, then this allows them to then remember what they said and they can listen to it again. Or you as the teacher, you can then go back and you can give them directions within that audio note. And instead of you having to repeat yourself 10 times, they can click on that audio note to hear it. And so we're working on getting the audio drivers for that working again. It's kind of hit or miss with that sometimes. But these are all features that I want you to be aware of so that you know why should we try Clicker 7 over Microsoft Word, over PowerPoint, over Google Docs. It really is these interactive grids, this interactive component of writing with an on-screen keyboard with great word prediction. It reads aloud, and it's very accessible for a lot of our different learners and allows us to really differentiate based off of what those learners bring to the table. So that is your really fast, quick, and kind of rushed introduction to Clicker 7. I have, I think, 1 minute left, so I'm going to go ahead and stay on for the next 5 to 10 minutes and answer any questions. But for those of you that could attend today, thank you. I hope you have success using this program. Put in your service desk tickets to request it for your computer, and it should hopefully work for you. Let me know if you have any questions or need any follow-up.